This is the forest in the northern Amazon region of Bolivia. It is like a green rug that shows how thick the forest is in this area, with rivers and streams that break the green monotony of this sleepy biodiversity reserve. The presence of many animal and forest species makes this region one of the richest zones of the planet. This is partially used in a sustainable manner, conserving traditions, vocations, culture, and wildlife as best as possible, as this is the way of life of its inhabitants. It is important to reinforce and ensure that productive forest activities continue indefinitely and give priority to its ecological and social characteristics before economic concerns. The productive potential is colossal. Only 20% of the total of all possible resources is used. Among these resources are some lumber species and Brazil nuts, which are harvested under strict criteria for sustainability. Brazil nuts from the Amazon are the fruit of the Vertolete excelsa Brazil nut tree, found in the wild and native only to the Amazon forests of Bolivia, the eastern central portion of Peru, and northwestern Brazil. The Brazil nut tree can grow up to more than 30 meters in height. On average, each of these trees is 400 years old, although there are some that are 900 and even 1400 years old. These trees are protected from being cut down not by laws but by the activity itself, as each of these giants is a source of income for the inhabitants of this region. The seeds are found inside the fruit, which is called the cocoa, and are extracted by the collectors once the fruit falls from the tree during the rainy season between December and March. This makes collecting them difficult. The region of Bolivia where the necessary natural conditions for tree and Brazil nut fruit development exist is an extensive region of the Amazon that spreads over 100,000 square kilometers and covers 10% of the country's surface. For more than a century, the economy of this vast region of Bolivia centered mainly upon the production of rubber or latex, and the collection of Brazil nuts and their shells was complementary through 87. All production was taken to Brazil as raw material for domestic consumption or for re-exportation in the case of processed Brazil nuts. By the end of the 80s, in Bolivia, Brazil nut harvesting was industrialized, adopting and developing technology and contributing in this manner to ensuring that a market for Bolivian Brazil nuts and Brazil nut shells exists, as well as improved prices. The commercialization of added value Brazil nuts began after the discovery of latex for the manufacture of rubber at the end of the previous century. The market for nuts is basically concentrated in industrialized countries, as nuts in general and Amazon Brazil nuts in particular are food products of high nutritional quality. The main market for Brazil nuts is Europe, the United States, Canada, and Australia, where the habit of consuming nuts exists since the rubber era. The primary supplier of these products for decades was Brazil. It's no wonder the Amazon Brazil nut is known in the international market as the Brazil nut. However, during the past few years, Bolivia has taken over as the main worldwide exporter of processed Amazon Brazil nuts. Currently, the Brazil nut production process is the following. Collection takes place deep in the forest. The natural fruit of the Brazil nut tree is collected between January and March during the Brazil nut harvest season. This product is stored until it can be extracted from the forest after the months of rain have passed, when climatic conditions allow for the transportation. Once the Brazil nut is in storage in the principal centers located on the shores of the Madre de Dios, Beni, Manupare, Manuripe, Tawamano, and other rivers, it is transferred to the processors' storehouses in Riberalta, Guayaramerin, or Cobeja. This product that arrives from the production centers in the forest, also called barracks, enters the main warehouses of the processors where processing begins. After being received, weighed, and a strict quality control check, it proceeds to its first severe trick. Rotating cylinders where the Brazil nut, still in the shell, is dehydrated from about 20% humidity to 14%, the ideal humidity for conserving it until it undergoes the following stage. The Brazil nut that is taken out of the cylinders is selected, eliminated any product in poor condition or of inferior quality. It is then parboiled prior to being peeled, and the seed is separated while still inside the shell using thermal shock. The seeds are then broken mechanically or manually. 3 processors in the region currently break the seeds open mechanically. During this procedure, the nut is introduced into an automatic breaker where the shell is broken off by impact. The Brazil nut is then classified according to type for export. The nut is then dehydrated once again in special furnaces from which it exits at 2 to 4% humidity, the maximum allowed limit for the international market. After this, the nuts are checked one last time and samples are taken to analyze product quality. Packaging takes place under strict hygienic conditions. The nuts are vacuum sealed after they have been peeled and dehydrated in packages weighing 20 kilograms, which are then boxed for transport to overseas markets. The world market for Amazon Brazil nuts has evolved continuously and has reached an export volume of nearly 15,000 tons per year. The importance of Amazon Brazil nuts for Bolivia is evident. As mentioned previously, the Brazil nut is the basis of northern Bolivia's productive economy and currently generates approximately 22,345 direct sources of employment. The number of Brazil nut processors, or benefactors as they are known locally, that exist in the northern and western regions of Bolivia confirms the importance of this product nationally. The production and external sales of Brazil nuts are second only to the soybean in terms of agro-industrial exports in Bolivia, and this is among the 4 most important non-traditional Bolivian exports. Manutata and Amazonas Sociedad Anónima use the latest technology available to treat and process the Brazil nut from the moment it arrives as raw material through the last stage, strictly controlling the asepsis of plant personnel who are continuously trained in proper hygiene practices, manufacture and HACCP. Top management is compromised with the ISO 9000 certification and HACCP system that guarantee food innocuity. Manutata and Amazonas Sociedad Anónima are 2 companies that export a high-quality product from Riberalta to the world.